Hello everyone. Today we are going to begin with a new topic called oscillations. In nature, if you see, there is a motion taking place everywhere. In kinematics, we have studied about rectilinear motion, as in motion in one direction only. We also know that the analogy of this motion in one dimension can be extended to motion in three dimensions. It would be a random motion in three dimensions because the x component, y component, and z component of the velocity, of the displacement, of the acceleration would change in a random manner, and there is no restriction that the moving particle should come back to its original position after certain specific time interval. So such a motion would be a random motion in three dimensions, and we can solve it using the techniques that we learned in the chapter kinematics. Now, in rotation, we have talked about the rotational motion of or circular motion of planets around the sun. So this is sort of a periodic motion, because as you know that after every 365 days Earth comes back to the same position after making an orbit around the sun. So that's a periodic motion, as in the motion has a fixed period in which it repeats itself. The Earth keeps rotating around the sun, taking the same path and taking the same time period, and that is why it's the periodic motion. Now we see several such examples of periodic motion in our day-to-day life. Every motion that repeats itself after a fixed time interval, it could be an oscillation of a pendulum, it could be moving leaves of trees, etc. So every motion that repeats itself after a fixed time interval, capital T. Now it could be different for different motions. So such a repetition of a motion after fixed time interval is called as a periodic motion. Now if you look at these four types of motions that I have written over here, each next motion is a subset of the previous one. For example, random motion in three dimensions is the biggest superset we have. So that includes the overall possible motion in three dimension. It could be circular, it could be periodic, it could be oscillatory, it could be vibratory, it could be simple harmonic motion, as we will soon be discussing what it is. But it basically random motion in three dimension defines, or rather it includes all types of motions. So it's a biggest superset we have. Now in that we are taking a small subset, which is a periodic motion, which is defined as every motion that repeats itself after fixed time interval, capital T, is called as a periodic motion. Now a even smaller subset of periodic motion is oscillation or vibration. So in case of periodic motion, let's say it's the motion of a planet around the sun, or it's the motion of a subplanet of Earth, as in moon around the Earth. So it's a periodic motion. But if I ask you, is it an oscillation? Now to imagine what an oscillation is, you tie a ball to a string. We can call this a pendulum, tie it to a ceiling and then give it a tap so that it starts oscillating to and fro. So what is happening over here is it is coming back to its original position after a fixed time interval, capital T, and that's why it's a periodic motion. But not just that, it is going forward and coming backward, so it's a to and fro motion, and such a motion is called as oscillation. Okay, so oscillation is a motion with fixed period, but it is not in one direction, as we talked about motion of a planet. For example, circular motion, the motion of a planet around the sun is a circular motion, or more or less an elliptical motion, but it is only in one direction. So the planet doesn't oscillate around the sun like this. So when it moves forward, it doesn't come back. So that's not an oscillation. That's a periodic motion. That's a circular motion. But oscillation is even a smaller subset of periodic motion, where the motion is happening in fixed period, but it's a to and fro motion. Now vibration is nothing different, nothing much different from oscillation. If this oscillation is happening at lower rates. Now, the rate at which this oscillation happens is called as frequency. So we'll soon be discussing what that frequency is. But if the oscillation is happening at a lower rate, for example, every second it is moving to and fro only once or only twice, let us say, that is an oscillation. But if an object is moving very fast and like this, it's moving very fast and describing a to and fro periodic motion, then it is called as vibration. For example, if you um, you know tap your hand on a metallic table, then you would hear a sound of that metal vibrating. So this is happening because the top sheet of the metal table over which you tapped your hand, it is vibrating. So we don't call it oscillation, we call it vibration because it is happening at a faster rate. The mosquito is the mosquito, it is moving its wings very fast, so that's a vibration of wings, we don't call it oscillation. But if we talk about a pendulum moving, then we call it oscillation because it is happening at relatively lower rates. So that those are the examples of oscillation or vibration. Now there is very specific type of these oscillations or vibrations. It is called a simple harmonic motion, so it is even a smaller subset of oscillations. So a superset is random motion in 3D. Subset of that is periodic motion. Subset of that is oscillation. So it's like one inside the other. This is the overall set of random motion R. Inside that we have a smaller subset called periodic motion P. Inside that we have a smaller subset called oscillation O. And inside that we have even smaller subset called simple harmonic motion S. Okay, so simple harmonic motion is very small subset of oscillations wherein a particular law is followed. The law is given as follows: when the object is performing a simple harmonic motion, it is moving between two fixed points and it is moving to and fro, similar to the oscillation that we discussed. But in case of simple harmonic motion, the displacement from the mean position, so if I define this object moving from this location to this location, then its mean position would be somewhere over here. Then the displacement of the object at any time instant from its mean position is directly proportional to the force that is trying to bring it back to to the mean position. For example, you know that this particular object, as it moves away from the mean position, it would slow down. You know this by common sense. As it is moving down away from the mean position, it would slow down. Why is it slowing down? Because there is certain amount of restoring force, certain kind of restoring force that is acting on it, which is taking it, which is pulling it backward, and finally it will slow down and stop over here, and then it will start moving backward. As it moves backward, speed would go on increasing and it would pass mean position with a maximum speed, and then would move to the other side wherein its speed again would go on decreasing because of the restoring force which is trying to pull it back. So in such motion, simple harmonic motion, there is an oscillation involved. That means there is a to and fro motion involved. But not just that, the force which is trying to bring the object back to the mean position is directly proportional to the very displacement from the mean position. What it in a sense means is, more the displacement from the mean position, more would be the restoring force trying to bring the object back to the mean position. So farther it moves away from the mean position, stronger would be the restoring force trying to bring it back to the mean position. And closer it is to the mean position, smaller would be the restoring force trying to bring it back to the mean position. So that's a simple harmonic motion, and in this chapter we'll be discussing simple harmonic motion in detail. So simple harmonic motion being a subset of oscillation, or being even a subset of periodic motion, the terminologies that are applicable to periodic motion or oscillation in general will also be applicable to the simple harmonic motion. The terminologies like time period is actually defined in the context of periodic motion, but it will be applicable to oscillations, vibration, and simple harmonic motion all. Then we discuss about the to and fro motion. Then we'll be talking about the displacement, the velocity, and the acceleration with which this particle oscillates. Now if it is moving in a simple harmonic motion, similar terminologies will be applicable to it: the displacement of it, the velocity of it, the acceleration of it, the maximum possible displacement being called amplitude of it. All this terminology is derived from oscillation will also be applicable to the simple harmonic motion. So in the further slides, we'll be discussing about the simple harmonic motion in detail. Now, a small exercise, a small task for you all. You have to categorize these examples into any one of the types of motions that we have seen till now. So for example, circular motion of planets, as I have already given this example, you know that circular motion of planets, it falls under a set called as periodic motion. The swinging of a swing or a pendulum, it falls under a set called oscillation, because pendulum or a swing, these oscillate about their mean position, the frequency being very small, the rate at which they are oscillating being very small. Whereas the vibrating strings of musical instruments, or the membranes of the musical instrument, they all belong to the subset called as vibration, because they are moving with faster rates. Now what exactly happens when these oscillations or vibrations they take place? These oscillations and vibration basically result into transfer of energy from one point to the other point. For example, vibration of air molecules. Now in an example where that I gave earlier, you tap your hand on the top of the table, it starts vibrating and you can hear it vibrating. When I say you can hear it vibrating, the vibrations are given to the air molecules that are in the vicinity of the tabletop, and those air molecules, when they start vibrating, the sound starts traveling. So these oscillations or these vibrations or this simple harmonic motion resulting, it's finally going to set the medium into the vibration, the medium in the vicinity of it, it is going to set that into vibration, and this medium, when it starts vibrating, it will result into transfer of waves. So in the next chapter that we'll be discussing after oscillations would be waves, but oscillations is the reason behind the happening of these waves. Now which all types of waves do you know? You know sound waves. Why do sound waves originate? Because something vibrates. For example, it's a tuning fork that you hit with a rubber pad. The arms of the tuning fork, they start vibrating. It's, for example, it's a person who is speaking, the air column in his mouth track, it starts vibrating. So that's the reason behind production of a sound. And when the air molecules are set into vibration, they start imparting this vibration to the air molecules that are in the vicinity of them, and those molecules also start vibrating, and they start giving their vibration to the molecules that are in the vicinity of them, and this vibration, it continues to get transferred through the entire air medium, and this process is very fast. For example, speed of sound waves, that means the speed at which these vibrations are transferred from one layer of air molecules to the other layer of air molecules, it happens at almost around 340 meters per second. So in a second, the vibrations would travel 340 meters forward, and that's a huge speed. It's called sonic speed. So these vibrations of air molecules, they transfer sound. So it basically results into transfer of energy from one location to other location. Vibrating atoms, they transfer heat. So in a solid, when you start heating one end of it, we have seen that through conduction, heat transfer, the heat transfers, the heat energy, it gets transferred from one end to other end. So vibrating atoms or vibrating molecules of a solid, they transfer their vibration to the next layer and then to the next layer and so on, and through conduction the heat energy gets transferred from one point to other point. So again, these vibrations or these oscillations, they are resulting into transfer of energy. Then oscillating electrons in antennas, they help in conveying the information being in the form of energy. So they basically help us to transfer this information in electrical energy form from one point to another point through antennas. So that's how vibration, oscillation, or even a smaller subset of that, which is simple harmonic motion, which is again an oscillation. The simple harmonic motion is also an oscillation, but it is oscillation with faster rate and and taking care of this force law. So force is proportional to the displacement from the mean position, and it is not just proportional, but it is proportional to negative of the displacement. So we'll soon see what this force law is in the next couple of slides. Now, some properties of this simple harmonic motion is called SHM, simple harmonic motion. So some properties of it, and especially the definition of this simple harmonic motion. Simple harmonic motion is a periodic motion. So we have seen that it's a subset of periodic motion. So it's again a periodic motion, but it repeats itself after equal interval of time, as is the property of periodic motion, and in which the amplitude and the frequency of oscillation remain same. That's another property of simple harmonic motion. So the frequency, that means the rate at which these oscillations are taking place, and the amplitude, that means how far the object moves, these all remain they remain the same, or they remain constant. They do not change with respect to time. This type of a motion is called as simple harmonic motion. But not just that, simple harmonic motion should follow this law. So force is directly proportional to the displacement from the mean position, and it acts in the opposite direction as that of the displacement. For example, if this is the mean position, if the object moves rightward, then the force acts leftward. If the object moves leftward, then the force acts rightward. And what is this force? It's called restoring force. So it is trying to bring the object back to its mean position. Now, this simple harmonic motion it can also be given as a projection of uniform circular motion. So we have studied what uniform circular motion is, right? Now this uniform circular motion, if we take its projection on y-axis, or if we take its projection on x-axis, what we get is the simple harmonic motion. But how? That we'll be seeing in the next lecture. So we will not be discussing that in this particular lecture. We will be talking about it in the next lecture. But we are very much conversant with simple harmonic motion, and that is why studying simple we are very much conversant with the uniform circular motion. So studying uniform circular motion in detail and then taking its projection along x or y axis becomes very simple approach to analyze the simple harmonic motion. So by now you must have come to know that simple harmonic motion is not a motion with a constant speed. It's a motion with a variable speed, because as the object moves farther and farther away from the mean position, the force grows stronger and stronger, and it slows down the object. So it's an accelerated motion. It's a motion with non-constant speed. Okay, so let us first discuss some properties of this simple harmonic motion. One property is period, which is very much common with the oscillation as well as with the periodic motion. The period, the time period in which the motion repeats itself, is called as period of the motion. The frequency, it's basically the rate at which these oscillations or these vibrations or this simple harmonic motion is taking place, the rate at which it is taking place, meaning in 1 second or in one time interval, one unit time, how many oscillations, number of oscillations, that means to and fro motion. One oscillation being defined as the object starts from certain specific location, it moves to the other end, and then comes back to the same position. This is called one oscillation. Now you have to count how many such oscillations are taking place per second or per minute or per hour or per day or per month or per year or per week, etc. That means per unit time, how many number of oscillations are taking place. And that's why the unit of frequency is number of oscillations per unit time. Now number of oscillations do not have unit, it's just number. Per unit time would have a unit of second, hour, minute, week, or days, or years, etc. So the frequency of the simple harmonic motion is given as per unit time. And so from these two things, period and the frequency, that means period is the time taken for one oscillation, whereas frequency is in one unit time
how many oscillations take place. So they are basically reciprocals of each other. So I can say that time period is 1 over frequency, or frequency is 1 over time period. They are just reciprocals of each other. Now, angular frequency. So, angular frequency would be more defined when we start talking about the circular motions analogy of SHM. So, in the next lecture, we'll be talking about this circular motions analogy to derive how an SHM would look like. So we'll analyze circular motion and we'll start talking about how we can derive SHM's speed, displacement, acceleration, etc., and how we can visualize this simple harmonic motion with the help of a circular motion. So that time this angular frequency would start making more sense. But just to define it for now, we can say that this time period, it can be given as, now, for example, an object which has a periodic motion, let's say an object, a planet that revolves around the sun with constant time period. For example, it's the earth which is revolving around the sun with constant time period. We can say that earth is moving with speed v and the radius of its orbit is r. Then what I can say is this v divided by, or rather this v is equal to 2 pi r, which is the circumference of this circle, divided by the time period that it takes to come back to its original position. So speed of this motion is equal to the path length taken divided by time period. So v is equal to 2 pi r divided by t. Okay, now I can also define this velocity in some other way. If you remember, this velocity can also be given as r omega from circular motions analogy. So we can say that if this earth is rotating about this sun, which is at the center of its trajectory, the earth is rotating about this sun with an angular velocity omega, right? Angular velocity omega. What it means is how much angle does it cover? Delta theta per unit time delta t is called angular velocity, right? And the equation is given as v is equal to r omega. So if I just substitute for it, I would get r omega, which is v, is equal to 2 pi r divided by t, right? Or in other words, I can say that omega is equal to 2 pi divided by time period t. This omega in the context of simple harmonic motion, not in the context of circular motion. In circular motion context, it is called as angular velocity. But in the context of simple harmonic motion, it is called angular frequency. Because now you know that frequency from this particular formula, frequency can be given as 1 by time period, whereas angular velocity in circular motion can be given as 2 pi by time period. So it's very much analogous to the frequency, but instead of 1 by time period, it is 2 pi by time period, where 2 pi gives you an overall sense of how much this particular angle is. It is 2 pi. So 2 pi divided by time period gives you the angular frequency in the context of simple harmonic motion. Okay, so that's all for today. Next lecture will be discussing about the analogy of simple harmonic motion derived from a circular motion, which we are very much conversant with. Okay, thank you.